All right, so let me just talk to you all about something that's been on my mind lately, and honestly, this is something that's been bugging me for a long time, every once in a while. The media does this thing, and I can't lie to you, it just doesn't sit right with me. They pander, they bend over backward to soften things, to protect athletes, to explain away bad behavior, and yeah, I get it to a point. Look, I've said this before on here, I'm not gonna come down hard on a 19-year-old kid straight out of high school or college who makes a mistake. They're young, they've had cameras in their faces since they were 15, the pressure's insane. But football, nah, football's a different beast. The NFL isn't high school. It isn't freshman year of college. This is a league where you come in as a grown man, or at least you're supposed to. You're 22, 23 years old when you hit the league. Some of these guys now with NIL money are staying in college even longer, 24, 25. And if you're a quarterback, you better be ready. Because I'm gonna hold you to a higher standard. I don't apologize for that. I'm harsh, I'm critical, and frankly, I think I should be. That's what the position demands. But the media, man, they can't help themselves. They keep trying to make excuses. Especially when it's someone flashy or someone they've already decided they like. And every time I see it, I think back to what happened with Johnny Manziel. You remember that? Right, I warned Cleveland. I was that guy yelling into the wind saying, "This isn't it, nope." I was dead on. I warned everyone that Baker Mayfield had the talent but didn't have the maturity, didn't have the emotional control. And when it all fell apart, when Stefanski finally said, "Yeah, we're done with this," I wasn't shocked. Because I had seen the warning signs. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button. Like the video and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Now don't get it twisted, I actually like the version of Baker we're seeing today. I think he's matured. I think life humbled him a bit, and I respect the growth. But none of that changes the fact that I was right back then, and Deshaun Watson, come on. From the beginning, I said something felt off, something didn't line up. Creepy, cringy, not a guy I want leaving my locker room, and again I got blasted for saying it. But I was right. So now, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, because this one stings a little more. I've been one of the people really rooting for this kid. I've championed him. I like the swagger. I like the confidence. I liked what he showed on the field in big moments, but in the last few months, I've seen two things that completely changed how I feel about him, and I'm telling you, both of them really bothered me. First, there was that legendary draft room video. You know the one I'm talking about. It was over the top. It was tone deaf. It was way too much ego for someone who's still trying to prove himself. Like, bro, you're a B-grade prospect. Your dad is Deion Sanders, and he led with ego for decades. That doesn't mean you need to do the same. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. That video, it crossed the line, and I'm not the only one who thought so. I had actual NFL general managers reach out to me and say that whole thing was a major red flag. They didn't like it. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was a bad look. Total turn off. And now this. Getting caught speeding over 100 miles per hour. Man, you're a quarterback. You're supposed to be the adult in the room. You're supposed to be the one making smart decisions. You're not just any other player on the roster. When Mike Tomlin says to is a trend, that sticks with me. And for me, I don't even need to when it comes to quarterbacks. One really dumb decision is enough to make me rethink everything. And that's exactly where I'm at now with Shedeur. The legendary room wasn't a good look, but this is reckless. 100 plus miles per hour. That's not just a mistake. That's dangerous. And I get it, he's probably driving a fast car. It's late. He's young. But that's exactly the kind of thing that separates the mature leaders from the guys who flame out early. And if you think this doesn't matter, think again. Judgment is literally half the job of a quarterback. People always ask me why I change my opinion on guys. But that's the thing, I don't cling to takes. I'm not married to yesterday's opinion. When I get new information, I pivot, I adjust. That's how life works. I treat this like flying a plane. If you're in the cockpit and a thunderstorm shows up on radar, you change the flight path. You don't just plow through it because that's where I was headed an hour ago. You don't fly headfirst into the storm. You adapt. Same thing happened with Will Levis. For months before the draft, I was optimistic. I thought maybe this guy has the tools. But then he started posting gun show photos, flexing like he was trying to win a bodybuilding competition, and that was it for me. I had to different NFL head coaches text me saying, "We're having this exact same conversation in our war room right now. We're laughing. It matters, because again, judgment matters. So yeah, when I see Shedeur now, I don't feel the same way I did 6 months ago, and it sucks. I wanted to believe. I liked what he was building, but I can't ignore this stuff. You dropped to 144 in the draft and then go out and try to match that number behind the wheel of a car. That's not a coincidence. That's a red flag. And yeah, I get it, some of y'all will rush to Reddit to defend him. Same thing you did with Manziel, with Baker, with Deshaun. But if you're honest with yourself, you know this isn't what leadership looks like. This is exactly what I kept saying about Baker. It wasn't one big scandal. It was a series of small things that added up, things that told me he lacks self-awareness. It's like posing with a tiger with your shirt off before you've even won a game. Like, come on. Earn it first. And Stefanski and Andrew Berry, they saw it, too, eventually. They realized he was lighting more fires than he was putting out. And when you're the quarterback, that's a deal breaker. So now I'm sitting here joking about having to root for Kenny Pickett or Jacoby Brissett. And don't get it twisted, I'm laughing about that, not about the Shedeur situation. But man, it's wild how quickly things change. One moment, I was hyping him up. Now I'm not sure I trust him. I'm not sure he's mature enough, and I hate saying that. But it's how I feel. And look, I'm not saying a speeding ticket is the end of the world. I'm really not, but when it's paired with everything else, when it fits into a larger pattern, you've got to pay attention. He was already on thin ice, falling to the 5th round when you were projected to go in the 1st. That alone puts a target on your back. The moment you slip up, people notice because they're already skeptical. And that's where we are with Shedeur Sanders. I don't hate the kid. I'm not writing him off forever. But today, right now, I feel different, and you should too. Now hear me out, because this is important. When there's a sense, even just a whisper, that the only reason you were drafted is because the team owner wanted you, not the general manager, not the head coach, then you are already on dangerously thin ice. I mean, you might be wearing the jersey, you might be getting the press coverage, but in that building, behind closed doors, they're watching every move you make with a magnifying glass. Every tiny slip-up becomes amplified. Every misstep, it becomes fuel for the people who never wanted you there in the first place. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. And now, Shedeur's not even practicing with the ones. Dillon Gabriel is. Let that sink in. The guy who's supposed to be the future, the flashy name, the viral quarterback, he's sitting while Gabriel is taking first-team reps. That's not just rotation. That's a message. That's writing on the wall. And when you combine that with off-the-field noise, even something as seemingly minor as a speeding ticket, it starts stacking up. Suddenly, the team's looking at you sideways. Like, is this who we're really investing in? You cannot get in trouble in a situation like this. You just can't. You don't have that kind of room for error. And the fact that we're even having this conversation, it's not a good sign. Now listen, I know people are going to say, it's just a speeding ticket, don't overreact. And I get that. I'm not here to crucify a guy over one bad decision, but I'm also not going to sit here and pretend like context doesn't matter. Because it absolutely does. I remember Dak Prescott. He had an incident before the draft too. It wasn't a great look. People were asking the same questions back then. Where's the awareness? Why would you do that so close to the most important moment of your career? But here's the thing, Dak turned it around. He fell to the 4th round. Yeah, but after that, he earned respect. He became a leader, one of the best, period. Say what you want about his play, but off the field, in the locker room, that dude commands respect. With Shedeur though, it's different. Because this isn't an isolated moment. There's a body of work here, and not all of it is flattering. I've seen the college clips. There's that one against Nebraska where he's acting a certain way on the field that just rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm not the only one. You dig through the internet, and there are people out there compiling videos for 5, 6 moments where it felt like Shedeur was more focused on Shedeur than the team. Now I've stayed away from that stuff. Mostly, I've tried to give him grace, let him grow. I was rooting for him. You guys know that. I've talked him up on this channel. I was hoping the NFL spotlight would bring out the best in him. But then I saw that draft room footage. You know the one I'm talking about. The vibe in that room was off. Like, there was this cloud of tension. Like the people who are supposed to be excited about a pick weren't fully bought in. And listen, if this were a cornerback or a wide receiver, maybe I'm not this passionate, but he's a quarterback. And quarterbacks, they're held to a different standard. Always. That's your leader. Your tone setter. He's the heartbeat of the locker room when your QB walks in. The whole room's supposed to straighten up and focus. That's the bar. And right now, I'm not seeing it. To be honest. This might be the last Shedeur Sanders segment I ever do on this channel. Not because I'm mad or emotional or trying to cancel the guy, but because I don't see the foundation anymore. I don't see the leadership, the accountability, the willingness to grow, and when that's gone, there's nothing left to defend. I've been in this business long enough to know how quickly narratives can shift. When you're on TV, when you're a quarterback, when you're in a high visibility role, whatever it is, you're being evaluated every single day. I feel that myself. The people who manage me, they make decisions about my future before they even tell me. That's just how it works. And I've had mentors in this industry. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got came from a guy who told me companies make their decision a year before they tell you. I've lived that. I run my own company now, and I can tell you it's true. Decisions get made quietly, early. You don't even realize you're on the chopping block until it's already done. So when I look at the situation with Shedeur, I don't think the coaching staff is brushing this off. I don't think they're sitting there saying, hey, no. Big deal, no. I think those conversations are already happening upstairs. I think people are already asking, do we really want to build around this guy? And that's tough to come back from. I know some of you are probably shocked to hear me say this. I was a big Shedeur guy. You all remember. I stood behind him. When others didn't, I was optimistic. But now, it feels like I'm watching someone slowly fumble the opportunity of a lifetime. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel is quietly doing everything right. No drama. Just grinding, showing up, being consistent. I didn't think I'd say this a few months ago, but I'm starting to root for Dillon. Let me give you a little analogy, and I know it's heavy. But stay with me. Imagine your relationship is solid. Great wife, good kids, supportive household. But one day you walk in and you catch something just a moment. You're partners with someone else. Now, they're not a murderer, right? It's not the end of the world, but it changes everything. In a moment, that's what this feels like. It's not career-ending, but it shifts the trust, the perception, the vibe. And that's what's happened with Shedeur for me. So I'll say this, good luck to him. I genuinely hope he figures it out. I hope he proves me wrong. But me, I'm on a new track now. I'm hopping on the Dillon Gabriel hype train. I might even go fire up a Reddit account under some burner name and start posting QB comparisons just for fun, because right now, Dillon's doing everything right and Shedeur, he's just making it too hard to keep defending him, and that's the brutal truth. Thanks for watching, and see you next one.